The bullet is 4 years old now. Okay, well, let me actually just do this first. I am happy that I'm still alive. This isn't clickbait. This is real. I have a bullet inside of my back and it's 4 years old now. And I speak about it matter-of-factly. I'm probably gonna get emotional though. I wanted to make a video like this just to remind myself of how fragile life is, because once you go through a near-death experience, you feel like you're gonna walk the rest of your life with that pure feeling of appreciation. And the truth is, you don't. You forget. I started reading articles about others who've gone through near-death experiences and they feel the same. It's almost like I'm ashamed to admit that 4 years in, I still take things for granted. I always like to regroup and ask myself, am I living my life to the fullest? Am I happy? Am I developing the relationships that I want to develop? Am I expanding my mind the way that I want to expand it? Am I laughing? Am I happy? Am I happy? Because the truth is, after you go through something as traumatic as getting shot, you really do think that that's like a permanent appreciation pill. Let's call it a pill. That you'll always see the beauty in life. That you'll always see how simple a beautiful small moment can be. And while every time I touch my back and feel the scar, I'm reminded of it, I still feel like I need to appreciate life more, and that's why today's video is all about appreciating life. That morning when I got shot, I didn't know I was gonna get shot. Every morning you wake up, you actually have no idea what's gonna happen to you later that day. You could have an agenda, you could schedule things in your calendar. None of that is actually guaranteed. Now, the odds that you're gonna be in a car at the wrong place at the wrong time, where robbers are gonna try to steal the car you're in, and you'll be driving away and they'll shoot up the car and then you'll get shot, those odds, slim to none. And I'll take one for the team. I want to keep myself accountable to myself and to you guys too. Like, can I be living better? Can I be living more fully? Can I be expanding my mind? Why am I waiting for tomorrow? Tomorrow is my least favorite word, because tomorrow shouldn't even exist, because it technically doesn't. All we have is now. I feel like people who have gone through a life-changing experience like a near-death experience, people who have serious illness, chronic illness, and people who are older all see the fragility of life. But why do we have to have something so crazy and so sad happen for us to appreciate it? My hope is that anybody watching, you could have the most perfect life. Not that anybody's life is actually perfect, but if you have no problem in your life, I still want to share this message with you, because that morning when I woke up, I had a great life, and I still have a great life. But that morning I had such a great life that it gave me that fleeting, elusive thought that I felt like I had forever. And so I was okay with being in arguments with my best friends, and I was okay with not having picked up the phone and called my mom in days, almost weeks, and I was okay with barely having a relationship with my dad, and I was okay with not knowing what my siblings were doing or were up to, or I hadn't connected with anybody that I cared for. And then I got shot. And then I'm laying down in the hospital, genuinely staring at the blankness of the ceiling, wondering if this is my last night alive. Because with a bullet inside of you, you don't know what's gonna happen. It could move, it could be infected. There's so many things that could have happened, that the fact that I came out of that hospital walking with nothing more than a piece of gauze on my back and a Band-Aid is a miracle. Whether you believe in God, in the universe, in miracles, like, it was all of those in one. It was a guardian angel, it was God, it was what was written. And as I was laying there, looking at the ceiling of the hospital, wondering if this was my last night on earth, would I be happy with how I've lived? And I was happy for the most part. I dedicated so much of my time to work, and I had become successful, and I had started working for myself and flying around the world and meeting all these cool people. But then there was a huge side of me that I knew I wasn't taking care of. Like, I wasn't building the relationship with my family that I wanted. I wasn't focusing on my writing the way that I wanted. I was doing whatever was working, and I kept doing it because I knew it was working. So in a sense, I started living for success itself as opposed to living for me and not becoming successful. And after I got shot the first year, I walked on clouds. Every day that I woke up, I would jiggle my legs just because I could, and I would have this tingle of appreciation for every single time I ran or walked, and it was beautiful. That first year was like genuinely the most grateful year. Then the second year comes around and you get a little bit more comfortable, you start realizing that you're alive, that you're well, and you go on a fitness journey maybe here and there, and that was also part of my experience. Year 3, I essentially forgot in a sense. Like year 3 was me overwriting a lot of the past. So I almost avoided talking about it because it's one of those things that if you talk about it, it sounds like you're a victim, but it's like, no, I talk about it so that I remind myself that that morning I didn't know I was gonna get shot. For everybody around me to understand that is how life works. Life does not give you the playbook, and you just have to play the cards you're dealt as best you can and as fulfilling as you can. And that's something else. Like every year on my rebirth day, I ask myself, am I doing something that matters? Am I empowering myself? Am I empowering others? Are you empowering yourself? The things that I've learned after getting shot have been tremendous. For one, taking care of your body. Your body is your first defense at anything, and what you feed it, the workouts that you put in, the stress level that you can manage, the sleep, like those are all very important things. You need to treat your body better. And that's something else that I've slipped up on this year because I was working and I couldn't take time I didn't make time to do those things. And so again, it's a rebirth day. As long as I still have my breath, I can course correct. We still have opportunity, but I'm keeping it real for me right now. Like, as somebody who's gone through a near-death experience, I forget to be appreciative. I forget to do the things that I love. And that is why this day is important, more important than my birthday, more important than any holiday. The rebirth day for me is the most important because it's the day that I reevaluate my purpose and meaning alive. And if I'm not happy with that answer, I'm not hard on myself, but I course correct and I start injecting more things that make me happy into my day-to-day. And I start picking up the phone and calling the people that I care about the most. And I let things go that don't serve me. And I just do things that make me happy. Like today I was dancing to Egyptian music and it was so much fun. And I started learning Arabic today. Why? Because I want to. And I'm cooking lasagna for my mom and I'm living with my mom. Why? Because I want to. Because I know when time is up, I will want more of those things. So why not get more of it now while I have it? We're always gonna want more time. But what makes life beautiful is that it's finite. When something is limited, there's more value in it, and that is how our life has value. And so the question is, when your time is up, how will you feel about the time spent? Will you have wasted it on too many silly people talking about stressful things, worrying about future plans that you may or may not be able to control? Or will you be just happy with how you're organizing your time and spending it now? I say go with the latter because that's actually in your control. And don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow you really have no idea what's gonna happen. I admit I'm a planner myself, and like part of my life has been planning, but there are always going to be things that are out of our control, and you need to use the time you have. You need to use every breath. You need to remember every morning is a new day. Every morning is an opportunity to dance, to laugh, to hug, to kiss, to fall in love. Those are the things that we're gifted every single day, and yet even me, somebody who's gone through a near-death experience, I forget that. So let's keep each other accountable and not forget that. Pick a rebirth day, mark it on your calendar, and in that moment, ask yourself, am I fulfilled? Am I happy? If I were to go today, would I be happy with the life that I've lived? Would I have used my gifts of every single breath wisely? And if your answer is no, don't worry. Because you see that? That breath you just took, that's an opportunity. We're gifted every breath. Every single breath is a gift wrapped in a beautiful bow. You just gotta look at it that way. Because the minute you stop looking at it that way is the minute that you start taking things for granted. And ain't nobody got time. We literally don't have time to be taking things for granted because our time is running out every moment. The fact that you just spent this time with me, you have spent a grain of sand of your life with me. Thank you, I appreciate that. But now take that grain of sand and do something with it. Because it can't just be for fun and games. Like, sure, entertainment is one thing, but curate the things that you're letting into your life, because everything that you're letting into your life is taking up one grain of sand. And you only have a finite amount of grains of sand to fill the beach that is your life. Life is a beach. I'm falling on this chair. And listen, I'm gonna just like, it's my rebirthday. It's my rebirthday. It's my rebirth. I love my legs. Yes. Oh my God. I look like a crazy person, but I swear, when you almost lose the ability to walk, you want to do everything possible with your body parts. 4 years ago, on this day, I was in a car in Brazil, in the neighborhood I should have been raised in, and it was the last day of Carnaval. You know, it's the last hurrah that the robbers have to rob locals while the tourists are partying in the touristy areas, and the police are there patrolling those areas and leaving the suburbs to kind of fend for themselves. So my family and I were in a car, and we drive down a street where they drive down every single day, and two men were in the middle of the street with motorcycles blocking the road, holding a gun in the middle of the road. And our car came down the road next, so it was really just the unlucky turn. And as we turned down the street, I just remember my aunt saying, "O que é isso? O que é isso?" And it's like, what is this? We didn't know. My uncle kept driving because my uncle who had been driving had already been shot. And so he knew that if he stopped, we would have probably been killed. And so we could have gotten out, hopefully unscratched, if we kept going. So he kept driving, and they got mad that we kept driving. And so they started shooting up the car, and I just saw explosive red, and the first bullet that came into the car was right where I should have been sitting, but instead of sitting on the left side of the car, I sat in the middle, and I was leaning forward because I was telling a story. And my little 15-year-old cousin was on my right, and my aunt was in the passenger seat, my uncle was driving. And so, like, when I tell you, there was a bubble protecting us. And I felt glass shatter on the left side of my head and bullets coming into the car. And oh my God, the sounds, like I still hear the sounds. I can almost smell the smells still. And the human body is incredible because that adrenaline, that'll slow everything down. And it looks like what you see in action movies, but as somebody who was in a scene like that, action movies are based on very real events. Only it's not as fun when you're actually the one in it. With no stunt double. A few seconds in, I felt this heat coming through my back, and I put my hand on my back and I looked, and there was blood everywhere, and I said, "Acabei de levar tiro nas costas," in desperation, almost like not understanding myself, because those are words I never thought that I would say, especially not that morning when I woke up, arguing with everybody that I care about. We think we have forever, and then it turns out you could take the next turn down the street and that's it. And as the blood was pouring out of me and I'm hunched over my 15-year-old cousin, now's the time to be strong. There's glass shattered everywhere in the car and everybody's in shock. They roll out of the car. No one else got hit, thank God. And as I looked to my left where I should have been sitting, the gaping hole of the first bullet that hit the car was just staring me in the face. And that was the moment where I'm like, God loves me. I have one hell of a guardian angel, and let me see if I can still walk. And that's when I lifted myself up like this, and I started limping, and I went through the hospital door, and I said, "Acabei de levar tiro," and they came out with a wheelchair, and I refused the wheelchair because I was so desperate to have a doctor look at me to tell me if I was gonna survive. Meanwhile, I'm like, I look like I'm fine, so the nurses don't even believe me when I say that I had gotten shot. They're like, "Oh no, it was just raspão." And I'm like, no, it wasn't. It's inside of me. I feel something inside of my body. In the hospital, I was so happy that I was alive, that I was cracking jokes. I was happy, because it was like, even if I'm gonna die this last night, it's gonna be a good night. And maybe I'm crazy for that. But there were so many unknown variables that if I could control one thing, which was my outlook, that would feel better than just feeling like I didn't have any control. And so they ran tests that night, and I didn't know if I would be able to walk. I didn't know if it would move. I didn't know if it would be infected. And the next morning, I had to sleep. They said, sleep. I'm like, now's not the time to sleep. Like, what? Honey boo boo, I'm a pull an all-nighter, y'all. So I slept for like 10 minutes, 20 minutes tops, because I didn't know if I would wake up the next day with legs that didn't work. And doctors came in after looking at the results of the tests, and they all said that the bullet was too close to my spine to be removed, and that they were gonna leave it in me, and that I now just had an additional little piece and one hell of a story to tell. And I said, that's it? And they said, yep, you're dismissed. And I'm like, damn, I just started getting comfortable. And that was it. That was it. And then they released me 14 hours after I got shot with a bullet in my back, a piece of gauze, and a little Band-Aid. And they gave me antibiotics for a week so it wouldn't get infected, and that was it. I had to take care of the wound, and I went home to my dad's, and you know, that night I sobbed because I now understand what unfair is, and I wasn't thinking about me. I was thinking about everybody who gets shot and doesn't survive. I was thinking about all of the kids that have to witness that, or having friends who are killed or being killed themselves, like weeping. I was so, like, it's then where you realize the viciousness that humans are capable of, but it's also then that you realize the beauty that it is to be alive, and the desire to not want this time to run out, and acknowledging that every breath we take is a gift, it's a choice, and we should do good things with those choices. Because some people aren't as lucky. And one day we won't be as lucky. We all go. It's not like we're immortal. And in fact, I'm glad we're not, because life gets exhausting. But it's also the concept that there's more value when things are finite. There's more value when you don't have an unlimited amount of it. And look at your life that way. Every minute is a minute that you no longer have, but it's also a beautiful minute that will create the hours, the days, the weeks, the months, the years, the decades of your life. But it starts with now. It starts with this second. It starts with this minute. It starts with this hour. How are you spending that time? Hopefully doing something that matters to you. Hopefully around people who are important to you. Hopefully making yourself happy, laughing. So when you take your next step, appreciate it just a little bit more for me, and I'll be back this time next year, hopefully. I love the Arabic expression inshallah, like if Allah allows it. Like, it's not up to me. I can make as many plans as I want, but really it's not in my control. I'm gonna show up if I am allowed the opportunity, and I'm gonna show up with a smile. But the showing up part is only up to me. The ability to show up, that's not up to me. If I get the ability, I'm gonna show up. And if you get the ability, you should show up too. With a smile on your face. What a gift it is to be alive. What a gift it is to be alive. You know, when I think about death, what I think I'm gonna miss the most is the ability to connect to people. It's the ability to create relationships with people, to connect, to feel that profound sense of affinity with somebody. That love that grows, creeps in. I'm gonna miss that the most. All the bills, all the bullshit, I ain't gonna miss that at all. You don't even think about that. It doesn't even cross your mind. It's just love. In the end, it's all love. That is it. Whatever you love, that's gonna be the last thing you think about. Guarantee it. Happy rebirthday, everyone.